Production funding for Sports Files is made possible in part by
Infinity of Memphis has moved to Germantown Road, just half-mile north of Wolf Chase Galleria, and is proud to support WKNO for its quality broadcasting and service to our community. Quality and service? No wonder Infinity of Memphis feels at home on WKNO.
the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
My guest today on Sports Files is the manager of the Memphis Redbirds, Mike Shildt. Well, it's hard to believe, but we are already through a quarter of the baseball season, and the Memphis Redbirds are locked in a close battle in the Pacific Coast League's American South. Mike Shildt is in his second season as the Redbirds manager, and he feels good about his team despite plenty of early inconsistency. The Birds' offense has struggled for a good portion of the early season. As of this taping, the Redbirds ranked fourth from the bottom in PCL batting average and were tied for last in the league in home runs with only 18. Their pitching staff has the second highest earned run average in the league. But with all those disappointing numbers, the team remains within striking distance of the lead in their division. Today I go one-on-one with the skipper, Mike Shildt. We'll discuss the Redbirds' young talent and talk about the challenges that the parent Cardinals are facing this season with the Cubs' torrid start. We'll also discuss baseball's unwritten rules as we dive into the subject of the Rangers-Blue Jays bench-clearing brawl from last weekend and why baseball players never seem to forget. It's the field boss of the Redbirds, Mike Shildt, and he's next on Sports Files. Mike, great to have you on the program again.
Always a pleasure, Greg.
Good to see you. All right, before we get into what's going on with the Memphis Redbirds, I have to ask you about these unwritten rules of the game of baseball.
All right.
You've been around the game for a long, long time. We had the incident earlier in the week in Texas with Toronto and Texas. How long do you carry over a grudge? It seems like it's juvenile, but obviously Texas carried it all the way over to Toronto. The next season, the final at bat for Batista, he gets plunked and all heck breaks out. So, what are your thoughts when you see something like that?
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword because you want to play old school, tough, hard-nosed baseball, and that's a winning brand of baseball. Give no quarter, take no quarter. But also you also have to be respectful of just the integrity of the game and sportsmanship as well. So it's a balance, and we strike it within our clubhouse and within our competition, and you do have to stand up for yourselves and your guys, and you also have to the game corrects guys as well. So guys will tell you or show you by a pitch inside or a pitch at somebody based on a perceived egregious act. A lot of times when that happens, usually there's kind of a tip of the hat and it's done. You did something. The other team usually know there's something that potentially you could retaliate with, and once that retaliation takes place, a lot of times it's a dead issue. I don't know the blood that's taking place, the behind the scenes, the chatting, the gamesmanship in that scenario with what's going on with those two clubs. Clearly it's gotten out of hand.
Right.
But you do appreciate the fact guys are competing, but you'd like to see it turn in a more professional manner in some cases.
Well, I understand if it's like a 3-game series and there's a problem game one, and then the next game you come back with a little retaliation, but how long does it carry over? Do you remember it for the next season?
There's certain guys, and you don't. Again, you want to correct the game. You want to stand up for your guys, and a couple of times there's been a scenario where a guy's taking a cheap shot. And then it's the last game of a series, or that particular pitcher, doesn't hit for himself, so to speak. And here it's a little bit different in my view in a minor league setting because it's about player health, our players, their players, and it has to be pretty something that's really obvious, and we just have to do something retaliatory because that retaliation, if it needs to be done, it has to be done. It needs to be to that particular player. I don't like sending a message to another player just because that's that guy's career. He's a minor league player. He's trying to provide for himself, his family, his own dreams of getting to the big leagues or getting back to the big leagues. So I have a hard time with that retaliatory method unless it's directly at that person. And then it doesn't have to always be a hitting of somebody. It could be you can still send messages in different ways, but it's probably one of the hardest things that I have to deal with some days. Because we do want to be competitive. We are in a competitive world, and you don't want to give in to somebody walking on you or feeling like they can do what they can in a competitive sense.
Well, you certainly don't want to be taken advantage of, but if you're Rob Manfred, if you're the commissioner of baseball, you got to come down hard on Odor, don't you? It's not MMA, it's not boxing.
It's clearly not crossed lines. It's gotten jumped over the line, and again, I don't know enough about the situation or what's taking place, but when it gets to the point where you're at that magnification for this period of time, and again, both are highly competitive, successful teams, so you can appreciate the competition of it, but it's just when it gets to that point, it's not good for the game.
Are there any unwritten rules that bother you personally? You're a baseball guy.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Bothers me the most. It's a different people have different perceptions of the rules is what's interesting to me. So I can't give you a specific instance, but like even managers have problems with other managers, and there's a philosophy of like playing behind a runner with a certain lead. Some people feel like, okay, with a 6-run lead, if I play behind the runner, you shouldn't run. Well, then the guy runs, and then the manager or the teams and pitchers get upset by that, right? And so, but if you don't want him to run, hold the guy on base.
Right.
You can't have both. But people feel like they can have both because then you're dictating to me what I'm trying to do.
Well, it's like in any sports. You don't want him scoring, you defend him.
That's right. That's exactly right. You defend him.
Well, we have issues with baseball players, and you may be the most sensitive group of athletes there is because, if they want to play a shift, they're playing a shift. That's not part of baseball. Yes, it is part of baseball. As long as it's within the rules, it's legal. Yeah. Now we have about sliding.
Right.
And the protection of obviously the players.
Right.
But we have a lot of controversy with that. So the tendency, I guess, now, Mike, is you move along further in your career, and we're now in 2016, safety of the players takes precedent, doesn't it?
Safety first, and I've always had that mindset. Of course, again, we're in a minor league setting, so we're protective of pitchers' arms, we're protective of guys, consecutively playing on certain days, and day game after night game, making sure their health's well and they're rested and properly, and the fine line between grinding and. Right. But the reality is, the game is changing. Mm-hmm. It just is, and I hear people say this. Baseball's baseball. It's always going to be baseball. And it's going to be the same game. But it's not. The game has changed. You mentioned the shifts. The analytics is here, and people think it's cyclical. It may morph into another way that it's being used, but it's not. It's here to stay. All right, and it works.
Do you depend a lot on the analytics?
I do. And is it foolproof? Clearly, it's not foolproof. But I can tell you this: think about hitting streaks, mm-hmm. right? So Joe DiMaggio had a 56-game hitting streak. Pete Rose had a 44-game hitting streak. When's the last time we even threatened Pete Rose's hitting streak?
Right, it's very rare now.
It's very rare. So my point is an illustration of the shifts at work. All right, bullpens and matchups, they work. So and runs are down historically the last 4 years. Consistently, runs are down since the mound was lowered.
Right.
Okay. So,
and why wouldn't you want the odds in your favor?
That's the only thing is, Mark Dijon is our field coordinator, and I coached for him for 3 years and been a mentor for me. And I think about a lot of things, wisdom he's given me, and he's always told me, defend what's most likely to occur. Mm-hmm. So if you've got this big field out here that you're trying to protect in a territorial sense, and you think the guy's going to hit in a certain area, why would you play him in a straight up scenario when the likelihood he's going to hit it here?
Right.
So you defend what's most likely to occur. You move guys around. And here's the thing that's interesting though: when it works, everybody says, "Yeah, it worked." When it doesn't work, everybody gets like, "See, you don't know."
Why did you do it?
And there's so many residual benefits, even when you don't see it working. Like, okay, a guy doesn't hit into a shift. What you don't notice is he may have tried to alter a swing and hit a fly ball to left field.
Sure.
Still worked. He may try to alter a swing, struck out.
It's all about adjustments.
He may get frustrated and start to give a bat away.
Right.
Still worked. He didn't have to hit the ball right in that. Now it's a 15 hopper to where the third baseman was. Everybody's sideways.
Right.
But that mindset will begin to change as well. So.
Well, Mike, we're a chunk of the way into the season. You guys have had your ups and your downs. How would you evaluate or assess this team so far?
Like the team. You know, it's a good group of guys. They come to work every day. It's a group that, you know, is trying to get a feel for what they are on a daily basis. Some guys, and it's like any team, right? Especially at even a higher level. You've got guys that are more established AAA players. You got guys that have been in the big leagues that kind of know what they're doing, how to go about things, how to deal with the travel of the league, the umpires, all the stuff that comes with playing a higher level of baseball. And then you've got some guys that are a little younger, a little less experienced, trying to figure out what that curve looks like, how to deal with, because this is and it's not an excuse, it's a reality. I think it can be an advantage if you mentally have it in the right perspective. The travel of the league is difficult. It's difficult for everybody.
Right.
But it is a learning process of how to deal with the different travel, the short sleep, the 2 connecting flights, show up and play. And at the end of the day, you got to be expected to play and execute and what that looks like. So we've got some guys in that learning curve of the league, and so there's some experiences taking place. You know, we're very process driven in this organization, so we're having to get guys to understand what process looks like to be able to get the result. So I feel really comfortable about individually guys starting to understand what the expectation is for their process and what they need to continue to evolve to be a contributing major league player for the Cardinals.
Well, you were hit with some injuries in camp before the season started. You've had some roster moves. I would imagine a month or 2 from now, the roster will look a little different.
Our roster, since it's been set at the beginning of the season, has remained mostly intact. We did, to your point, lose some guys that were heading our way. You know, Tim Cooney, Marco Gonzalez, 2 experienced guys.
It's tough.
It really, yeah, it's tough for them, clearly, tough for the organization because they're first-rate protection for the big league staff and have proven to pitch well in the big leagues. You know, Eric Fryer's now in the big leagues, good for him because based on Pena's injury, and Tommy Pham went down, so it opened the door for Hazelbaker to get up there and contribute what she's doing. So it's creating opportunities. Guys are looking like they're coming back, you know, getting healthier from St. Louis, and so inevitably there's some roster churn, but that's why we're here, and we'll just keep moving forward.
What's it like within the organization? Because it seems strange to have the Cardinals as far back as they are this early in the season because of the incredible start that the Cubs are off to, the rivals, of course.
Right.
A little bit different. We're used to seeing the Cardinals in first, or, you know, if they're out of first place, they're out a game or so. It's like 8-9 games, whatever the case is. It's just one of those things?
Yeah, I think it's, you got to, I mean, gosh darn, you know, the Cubs are off to a torrid start and, you know, almost historic start.
Exactly.
You know, so
right.
We can't control that. It's a reality. We, you know, have played good baseball, and it's very early in the season, and I've got complete confidence in the talent and the leadership and the character in that clubhouse that they're going to be just fine in St. Louis.
Well, Mike, tell me about some of the players that fans can come out and watch here, and hopefully one day they'll be playing in the show.
So we do have some interesting guys, and the reality is all 25 guys have the opportunity and the ability to play in St. Louis and contribute. So everybody's got an opportunity to see and come out in this beautiful ballpark and see the guys play. Some guys that are playing well that, you know, and I can't play GM, but guys that have played well that are putting themselves in a good position to be the best version of themselves. Our leadoff hitter, Charlie Tilson's getting more consistent with what he's doing. You know, he beat out an infield single today on a routine ground ball to short. He's a good runner, plays the game right, plays a nice center field. Fun guy to watch. You know, Jeremy Hefner's coming back from 2 Tommy Johns, which is a good story.
What a story.
It's an amazing story to his credit and his perseverance. And but this is a big league pitcher that, you know, had the setbacks with the injuries and has come back and pitched well for us, so he's fun to watch. Our bullpen's really exciting. You know, we'd like them not to have to use them. You know, we'd rather just go ahead and give the guy the ball to start the game and get it back at the end. But, you know, when we do have to go to our bullpen, we've got some exciting arms down there. Miguel Sokolovich, who did a wonderful job for the big league club last year, comes in and does a nice job for us, clearly. And Juan Gonzalez, who's a free agent, who pitched, got some big league time with the Dodgers last year, did a nice job at the back end of the bullpen. Sammy Tuivailala, again, a couple years in the big leagues, contributed. Is still throwing the ball really well, getting more consistent with his fastball. He's starting to throw a curveball, which has been a nice out pitch for him, and his cutter's been another work in progress. Is starting to become really consistent pitch for him.
Well, you said all 25 guys on this roster have a chance to play in the big leagues. I can't imagine every single minor league team at the AAA level, every one of these players are going to have a chance to play in the big leagues. But it's a little bit different for you guys.
It is, you know. I mean, the reality is there's a scenario, and it's our job to keep guys and have them available, depending on maximizing their skill set.
Right.
Okay. Putting them in position to where they're getting the work, getting to where they can improve what they're doing and be more consistent. And then there is a scenario based on different variables where guys are able and capable of going when or if needed. And that's our charge, that's our job, is to create that opportunity for John Mozeliak as general manager, look down and say, we need X.
Right.
And here's player Y.
And that's what they need for incentive as well.
That's right.
If they're a player and they know there's no opportunity to get to the show, I'm not saying they want to stop playing, but kind of lose interest a little bit.
Well, it's this, you know, I've said this, Greg, and I may have said it to you, you know, I empathize with the guys at this level more than any other level in the fact of they're either coming back from their dream, they're close to their dream, and, you know, they're in an area there where they're like, man, am I making this? What's going on? Because, you know, you only go up or, you know, you go out. And so, you know, guys can tend to lose their focus about that. So ultimately what I'm saying is, it's if they don't have a hope for or a real thought about or an expectation on their own to play at the next level, then we're going through the motions.
Right.
And regardless of what occupation you're in, no one's going to be productive or happy by going through the motions. So the organization does do a nice job of creating opportunities, and hey, you make the most of your opportunity, and that's what we do. We provide these guys their chances and get them going, and our guys take that seriously, and you know, for the most part, they buy into it.
So, Mike, what did you learn in your first year here in Memphis that you've taken over into this year?
Just overall management of time, my own time, the players' time, how the schedule works, how to be able to understand what players need at this level as far as maybe a blow here, a little bit, you know, learn to push there, pull back a little bit more. So just really just an overall view of just how to take care of the guys and take care of the overall schedule and my energy as well.
And how have you enjoyed yourself now in year two?
I love it. You know, I love the ballpark. It's a great front office. The fans are great when you know, we were able to get a good full house, and appreciate that. And you know, I love the staff that we have, and I really enjoy the team we have. So I got nothing but positive things happening.
I always enjoy watching you manage. I always enjoy talking to you, Mike.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. That's Mike Shildt. He's the skipper of the Memphis Redbirds. We'll take a break. Overtime is coming up next. Now, I don't need to tell you that the Memphis area has some great golf courses. The variety is incredible. Private, public, city courses, you name it, and Memphis has it. But it's not just Memphis. It's the entire Memphis metro area, and in general terms, the entire Mid-South. Now, one of those courses is a stone's throw away from Memphis in nearby Fayette County. Oakland, to be exact. It's Fair Oaks Golf Club. And just last year, it was named the Public Golf Course of the Year in Tennessee by the Tennessee Turfgrass Association. The course opened in the fall of 2000 and gives area golfers a fair but challenging layout. Golf course superintendent Nathan Sullivan has been at Fair Oaks for nearly the entire length of its existence, arriving at the course 1 year after it opened in 2001. The former collegiate golfer at UT Martin doesn't get to play as much now because he's busy making sure the course is in tip-top shape. And I guess the proof is in the pudding. Nathan, we couldn't have picked a more perfect day to be out here on a golf course, right?
It's beautiful, beautiful day.
Tremendous weather. Congratulations on the great honor for Fair Oaks. We're taking a look at what you were presented in January by the Tennessee Turfgrass, the Public Course of the Year in 2015. Quite the honor. I'm sure it was quite the night.
Yes, it was an exciting night, and Philip Fulmer was our guest speaker that night, and he was very entertaining. But it was an honor. The Tennessee Turfgrass Association gives an award for the public, private, and environmental golf course of the year for the whole state, and we were chosen for the state this year, and it was a true honor.
Well, what exactly, as we go ahead and hit a couple of putts here on the putting green, but what got you to the top? What won you the award? What is so special about Fair Oaks?
I think what we provide just for the average golfer, come out, have a good time. We have very large greens, very large fairways, big tee boxes, and we're able to give the golfer a good time, and also the speed of the time that we play. Try to go on a four-hour round,
Right.
and that's in today's world where time means so much. That's very enticing to a lot of people.
Let's hit a couple of putts here while we talk.
All right,
So you guys are basically Bermuda everywhere, right?
we are. We're Tiff Eagle greens, 419 Bermuda on the tees and fairways, and mostly common Bermuda in the rough.
So what of a type of a process is it for you and your staff as the superintendent here and supervising everything that's going on to keep this course as green and as plush as it is? What goes on a daily basis?
Well, there's a lot. A lot of it has to do with the conditions that we have. Weather's such a huge factor. A lot of times we're tied with the weather, tie our hands because we can't get things done. But just the day-to-day operations of conditioning with fertilizers, fungicides, checking soil temps, just everyday process of day-to-day monitoring that we do to provide the best qualities we can.
We're out here in Fayette County, but we're a stone's throw away from just about everywhere in Memphis. This is a course that really is an alternative for a lot of folks who want to get away a little bit but not have to go too far. So they got that opportunity coming here to Fair Oaks.
Right, you know, we're still pretty much 15 minutes, 20 minutes from a lot of people, and it's an easy drive out 64, 4-lane the whole way, and not a bad drive at all.
Not at all. You have been with this course for 15 years now. They've been open since 2000, so basically you've been here throughout the time that this came into existence. Why do you like it so much that, and I'm sure you, with your degree and now your experience, could probably go to a lot of different places. You're from the area, you're from Brownsville, which is right up the road, but obviously you have to like what's going on at Fair Oaks to be here this long.
Right, I have this June, that'll be my 15th year, and I don't know, there's something about this that I just take pride in. We're kind of a family atmosphere. The relationships I've built here, the relationships with my staff, and my mechanic, the people that are kind of behind the scenes and take care of me, just the consistency and the relationships that I've built, we've just built something solid.
It's like a family, right?
It really is.
Because
it
you
really
can
is.
get to courses where it becomes like almost like a conglomerate, some big company. You don't get that feel of dealing with friendly people and family, and that's exactly what you have here. Anything for the future? Any changes, any additions? You have an awful lot of land here, a lot of space. What can we expect to see in the future?
I think we're just looking to get as many people out as we can. Future tournaments, open to hosting tournaments, is a great center to bring corporate events, things like that. Also, our pro is looking at doing kids clinics, different clinics, getting the younger people involved in golf.
My friend Bruno Stralka.
Right, exactly right.
You got great ownership. The folks here are so terrific. You got a nice clubhouse here as well.
Right. So I think it's unlimited for the future.
All right, so you got the 2015 award. We're now in 2016. You got to get a repeat, right? You got to win back-to-back, don't you?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
But you're going to make every effort to do it.
We'll keep striving to provide the best product we can provide.
That's all people could ask for. Keep up the good work,
Right.
Nathan. Thank you so much.
Greg. Appreciate it.
And that'll do it for now. Have yourselves a great week, and we will see you next time.
Production funding for Sports Files is made possible in part by
Infinity of Memphis has moved to Germantown Road, just half-mile north of Wolf Chase Galleria, and is proud to support WKNO for its quality broadcasting and service to our community. Quality and service? No wonder Infinity of Memphis feels at home on WKNO.